Welcome everyone to Campaigns and Concoctions, where we are a bunch of scurvy scallywags who like to drink and play TTRPGs. Hey. Thank you for joining us on this adventure of cooperative storytelling. I am Morgan, the GM. I am coming to you live from Operating Location Alpha. Curtis sending us his energy from Detachment 1, and Matt is at the Operating Location Charlie, while everyone else is located at Campaigns and Concoctions HQ. If you want to join us on our interwebby things, there is a link in the description of the episode, or you can also find us on the gram at Campaign Concoctions Pod. There you can find links to our Discord, which has been getting a little bit busier lately, so thank you for that. Also, thanks to everyone who's been listening and joining us lately. Our numbers keep growing every week, so thank you everyone for that. But before we get into deliciousness, I asked before, but I'm going to ask again. Anybody got anything that they want to share? They want to pitch? Anything like that? Silence, I will take that as a no. So Jared is finishing up his drink right now, so I'm going to get us started. I went simple. I have a Manhattan, 2 ounces of Rittenhouse Rye, an ounce of sweet vermouth, a full eyedropper of infused bitters Tres Amigos, which is super spicy and delicious, and it burns, and it's awesome. So it is wonderful, and you garnish it with a maraschino cherry or whatever. I don't know. I can't remember which brand I got, so that's where that is. Jared, are you ready to go, or we can read later?
He's currently outside. I went to Cochino Tacos earlier, and I got a 32-ounce Paloma, and I am still working on it. Because it's a 32-ounce Paloma.
Yep. And see, and this is why I always warn Jared. Jared, don't make drinks when you're really close to start. When we're really close to starting recording,
right?
Because Jared takes a long time, and I love him for it.
Yes,
he puts a lot of thought into his craft.
We can talk about it after the break.
I'll talk about it.
We'll get to it later. But
I have a drink.
What do you have, good sir?
I have gin and a glass.
Sounds
that is
fun.
Good. What type of gin
cocktail
is it?
I was like, I have 805, so
good choice. Good choice.
Woods,
much
barrel
in
aged.
the vein of what Curtis is drinking. I'm experimenting with this newfangled thing called beer.
So awesome.
It'll never catch on.
I'm wiped out and feeling lazy.
That's fair. I mean, that's what I'll be drinking the rest of the night. I just wanted to make at least one before the night is over. So, the last time that I saw you, Scurvy Scallywags, which I might keep that permanent. That might be my favorite one yet. Scurvy Scallywags kind of fits.
Not bad.
The party left the boat and began exploring Tal Kabahad with its spicy scents, its bustling atmosphere, and the crackling energy of the arcane permeating the city. They found a great place to get drinks called the Black Diamond Ale House, where they found a little bit of information about what's going on, a bit more information about the city, and then went to dinner at Autumn Hook, where some people found. Oh, actually, before that, some people found some information from a somewhat shadowy organization. And then at dinner, some plans were made. Trying to read all of my notes here, because I know there's something about paradox shipping, which I can't remember because my notes are crap because they're on a envelope.
That was the competitors for the Nine Brothers that we were
That's right.
and dining, or Dustin was whining and dining.
Something in bone, shadow in bone.
That's right. That's right.
In bone.
That's the shadowy information space.
What was her name again?
Fadma Sabari.
It changed Fadma to Farms in my app.
It's very much a shame because the culture of the 3 city-states is very much kind of like if it's the reverse of what happened in real life. It's if Algeria colonized France.
Nice.
So it's beautiful and wonderful. So I use a lot of Arabic, which is one of my favorite languages. I wish I spoke it. So at this point, Sark is finishing up his walk around where he found a little bit of information and was able to get some spots of where he could possibly be going. But at this point, the rest of the party is resting for the evening. Sark, you are going to have to get back, though, a little bit for your shortened rest. So the morning has slowly come. The humidity rises because Tau Kabahad is an island. And it's humid in a way that Haven is not. And it's mostly because if anyone has spent time completely surrounded by water, they understand that feeling. It doesn't even have to be hotter for it to be more humid and more uncomfortable. This is kind of like a Florida humidity, which is not fun.
Yeah, gross.
Yeah.
They can keep that warm rain bullshit.
Yeah, it's terrible.
But it is other than the humidity, it is gorgeous as the breeze kind of flows through the open windows. It's one of those spaces where there's really not a winter. There's a monsoon and a dry season. So like there's really not a lot of permanent glass that is there in the for the winter. But everyone had gotten rooms. I think there were. We'll just say that you guys found an inn because that way we don't have to role play that. Everyone found a place. Everyone communicated where they were going to be, and the morning arises bright, clear, with a light westerly wind blowing over the port area where you guys are at. What would you guys like to do?
Bell's probably still not awake yet, so. Unless Sark will come up. That one I have to roll for. He just wants to do work.
Nope, I have not woken him up yet.
Perfect.
Did we notice any areas last night that would give a nice look out into the harbor in the direction of Haven?
Say that again. Sorry.
Are there any areas that we would have seen last night that would be a great place to go to watch the sunrise and to get a look in the direction of where Haven is?
So Haven would be directly south, and the port is remember my maps here. So the island that Tau Kabahad is on is shaped like a teardrop. And so the port itself is kind of slowly or not it's round but not very very much so, So the closest thing for you would probably be to go out and sit on one of the docks.
I will go and do that. I will return to where I know the ship was, and I will find a quiet place to sit and to think and to just listen.
So if you remember, the ship is floating right now.
Mhm.
It's docked at one of the airports, or the airport. Ha 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 ha! Unintentionally invented that thing.
Well,
At a Sky Harbor.
So, what are you doing there?
Cloud Harbor.
There you go.
I think I'm gonna spend a little bit of time. I think I'm gonna go through one of my rituals with red wine and bone fragments pestled into it. I'm gonna take time to listen, and I'm gonna try and meditate on the last things that I heard. What I call Haven has said to me, and what my objectives are.
Is there anyone that happens to be wanting to pay attention to Patrice when they're leaving?
I think I'll kind of watch Patrice go out, and then I give Patrice some space, but kind of observe from afar.
Oh, but are you going to follow?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll a stealth check. if you're going to be discreet about it.
Yeah, I'm not like. Set 8.
Okay. What's your passive,
Uh,
Patrice?
higher than an 8.
That's going to be a 12.
So, as you are walking around and kind of finding that spot where you feel comfortable being able to sit down and navigate and listen to what's going on, you do notice Sid trying to be discreet and giving a little bit of distance, but she is definitely following you.
I motion for Sid to come and join me on my walk.
All right.
Good morning, Patrice. Sorry, didn't mean to disturb you. Just was also up early this morning and just taking in the new surroundings.
Yeah, it's yeah, I think I'm starting to get used to being in new places. I was headed up to the docks to kind of get a better look south and look back where we came from and spend a little time in quiet.
Well, don't mind me. I'm just taking in this new environment and seeing. Man, why the heck I ended up here now?
Why did you end up here?
So it's kind of a long story. Well, not long, but the short of it is that my comrade and best friend that I went through my entire military career with was taken in the last battle that I ever fought in, and when I was going through her things, I found little skull figurine head of the Skull Rock at Haven, and heard of it and decided to see if there was any meaning or any clues of what happened to her from that trinket.
Is it do you have it with you?
Yeah, I would. So Patrice will pull out a tobacco
Sid?
smoking kit. Sid, oh my god, thank you. Sid will pull out. I'm in the moment. This is good. Sid will pull out a tobacco smoking kit, but it's different than the one you've typically seen her have. And there's zippers. Probably unzip a little pocket and pull out this little trinket, like it's just a collector's souvenir item of Haven, that somebody sold. Who knows?
May I see this tchotchke?
Yeah, I'll hand it to Curtis or to Sid. Oh my god, to Patrice.
I hold it in my hands delicately and I smash it on the. No, I don't do that. I would like to roll religion on this.
All right, go ahead. With advantage, please.
That's going to be a 17.
Okay. So instantly you have this initial reaction to it just because of the visual representation. It is a perfect replica of Harbor House with the horns and everything. As you roll, you hear, or not as you roll, as you or kind of as you roll it through your hands, you probably have your ocarina out at this point, and it's kind of like you notice that it is made of the same material. And it sings to you in the way that the ocarina did.
And
you also
did I establish or think about in regards to the ocarina that it was made of the skull from Haven?
100%, yes.
So I'm going to assume that that you're implying that this is also made from the same bone.
Yes. So you do recall that at one point there were a few of these that had been sold out of Haven itself. This is the first time you've seen one in person and that you have connected with it. But now that you've seen it and touched it, and you know that this comes from the same creation space that touches around the being that you know as Haven.
I visibly kind of am taken aback and gasp at it. I've got my posture changes to one of slight reverence, and I hand it back to Sid gently and say, "This is no mere trinket. This is actually of Haven, and when I say that, I mean like this is made of the same material as my ocarina that I hold here, which comes from the skull of Harbor House."
I had no idea. How would have this gotten across half the world?
Well, I mean, Haven is a bunch of scurvy pirates that travel all over the place, so I gotta assume by boat.
Can we put the ocarina and this trinket together?
Well, Patrice had hit the ocarina out. It's something that it's kind of become like worry beads for Patrice, if I'm remembering correctly. He always kind of has it in his hands and is kind of gently caressing it, so you can see it. The distinction, though, between the ocarina and this trinket is that there is a little bit of paint that has been applied to it to give it the shading and everything as if you were walking up and looking at Harbor House. And now that you kind of look at it differently, you can see that. But as long as you have held on to this, it doesn't seem that anything has faded or gone away.
Crazy.
Well, that is a special thing. Was it? You're saying that your friend was taken under duress?
Yeah, we were in a kind of ambushed last battle I ever fought in, and she's kind of sacrificed herself so that I could get back. I don't know what happened to her, and then politics kind of got involved, and they thought that I wasn't fit for service anymore and decommissioned me, so I started my retirement and was just a couple months have passed, and or I guess it was a whole year passed, and I eventually, in her memory, opened up her tobacco pipe and was going to smoke in her honor, and I found this in her bag, and that just set me on the course to Haven.
Wow, that's pretty special. Have you heard anything about your friend since? Like,
Oh,
do you know anything? Is there any intelligence? Any?
I was hoping to go to the Shadow and Bone and ask them while we're here.
Before you say that, I need you to roll a history check, Sid, on the convocation of Shadow and Bone.
Oh, that's not great. I think history is flat. Yep. It's 8.
Well, luckily, these guys are from your neck of the woods,
Okay.
so you have a really low DC.
Okay.
So you would actually know that they are not the best place to seek out information.
Okay.
The convocation of Ebony and Bone, from what, because you would have had some sort of relationship with them in your guys as a sergeant major or warrant officer in the Legion of the Dagger. They are a thieves guild. However, They are more than that. They will have information, but they are not your primary source of information. Usually, if they're selling it, it's because they just happened upon it and they see some money into it. The one thing that they do, I hate saying it like that, is that they are involved politically in targeted killings.
Okay.
That's kind of the space that you had operated in with them, that you would have done. They are expensive, but very good.
Okay, cool. Okay, so that would change probably my response.
That's why I said ask me before you go anywhere.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so scratch that from the record. Let me think. No, I haven't heard anything since. Yeah, I was hoping that Haven would bring something to light, but I just stumbled into you guys and just feel like you're kind of my new comrades now, and feel attached to this crazy group of this crazy team. Feel like we're doing something that echoes. Is going to echo in history and have some purpose behind it.
I can't speak to that, but I agree with you. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen and what we're doing, but I don't even know what we're doing, but it feels bigger than it is. I would agree with you. I think that we lack some direction, so that's why I was headed up here this morning to spend some time in communion with my deity and reflect and try and figure out what it is that we should be doing or should not be doing. Maybe, who knows?
Well, I'll let you get on with your morning. I'm just gonna go walk the shore, or by the shore, wherever the shoreline is, or water is.
So you would have been heading that way. That's where Patrice was kind of walking. So it's not like how Haven kind of has that sharp turn where there's the inlet and then the flat. This is just kind of the harbor here just kind of covers the entire south end of the island. There is a tidal break out in the distance that you can see, and there's plenty of ships here, so you can walk the docks, you can walk the ports, the port side stuff as much as you want.
Right. So I'll start kind of meandering.
Okay. So before we get back to what Patrice is going to do on his own, is there anything that anyone back at the inn would like to be doing?
Did we ever meet with the person we're supposed to meet with when we got here?
Nope. You still have to make it to Mage House.
Right.
Yeah, we were gonna go case both buildings 1st and then go talk to everybody.
We will say that the facility you guys stayed at for the evening is called Feather and Sheep.
Feather and Sheep.
It is run by a expat from the Grand Regency of Bridgehold, which is why it gets that Britishy name instead of something a little bit more. It's also the name generator that I had closest is a British pub and inn name generator.
I like how there's a Bull and Bush thing in the back of Matt's background, which is also like a British pub type name.
Right.
I need to actually hang that.
Since I know we have a busy day, I probably wouldn't let Elle sleep too long.
Okay.
Mostly to kick him awake so we can go scouting and then swing by Nine Brothers before we actually go talk to relatively important people.
Right. Makes sense.
at this point.
Okay. So if no one else has got anything else though besides that, Patrice, you go and find a good spot to sit and kind of watch the sunrise. You find a dock that's protruding out to this, that's facing to the south, that doesn't have any ships attached to it, and you just kind of sit yourself at the corner where you can see that sunrise from the east, and then you can look south towards Haven. You can kind of get the best of both worlds. And for anyone who has traveled much, that there's always a familiarity to the sunrise and sunset, but when you're in a different place, it still feels alien, right? And here, there are more colors with the sunrise. It seems that there in Haven, right there, right around on the close to the equator, it's a very abrupt sunrise and sunset. There isn't a lot of time, but as you get further away, the colors seem to settle in a little bit more, so you get a little bit more of a refraction away. It's quite stunning. It's very beautiful, and there's a mist off to the east as the temperature is rising, and it seems that a mist rises from the sea. And what is it that you're going to be doing?
I'm gonna take out a small ceremonial cup. I'm gonna take out a small mortar and pestle. Well, normal size mortar and pestle. And I'm going to get a sliver of bone that I've carved from the base of Haven. And I'm going to place it into the mortar and pestle, and I'm going to smash it into smaller pieces. And then I'm going to pour that bone into the cup filled with about 2 ounces of wine.
Okay. And then drink it?
Yeah, that is the plan. I'm gonna have a small prayer. I'm going to have my eyes closed, so I'm gonna be sitting still. I'm going to be tracing along my chest the different portions of Harbor House, following the cheekbones and the ocular bone and things like that, just to kind of center myself and remind myself that I placed it here over my heart because that's where it lives. That's where it lives in me. And I go ahead and I drink the wine and I listen.
So ever since you had put those two items close together, there had been a whispering in your ears, very gentle. But as you consume this concoction and you feel the heat rising on your left side, the whispers continue to gain in volume. They're not painful, but you don't make anything clear out of it. But it's not confusing. It's comforting. You get the sense that you're where you belong, and that these voices are here with you as a continuation of what the being you call Haven is doing for you and those around you.
After feeling that reassurance, I would say I stand up as tall as I can, and I reach to the sky, and I spread my arms out to the side, and I lean down and I touch the ground with my palms. I'm a very flexible, tiny man, and that's kind of like a bow of prostrate in a way. And then I say thank you, and I go join the rest of my group for I don't know. I kind of want to know what breakfast is now.
Well, before we get to that, I need Skjald.
Yes, sir.
If I can get you to roll a D100 for me, please.
100. I think I can do that. It's going to be 47.
All right. So you also hear a voice. However, unlike Patrice, it is crisp and clear in your head.
Mm-hmm.
It's the woman that helped bring you back.
Okay.
Beware the western mists.
What are the Western Mists? You mean the place in the ocean?
You don't get any response from it. As soon as she finishes saying the western mists, it goes away. So
Like, super helpful.
No follow-up questions.
Super
Go
helpful.
go ahead and roll a history check for me.
We know what my history check is.
I know.
I got a 19.
See, I had a feeling.
Yeah.
So you would know that off to the west, especially up here in the northern hemisphere of Librarth, is an area known as the Mists. There are not very many uncharted areas on Librarth. This is one of them.
All right.
Because and it's not that possibly that they're uncharted, it's just that when ships go into the mist,
Yeah.
they don't come back.
Gotcha.
Also, I did forget this when she says, beware the western mists, there was an image of a fairly large serpent.
Ah. Good to know.
You raise your hand and say slightly more helpful.
I'm slightly more helpful.
I'm trying to remember all I've got my disparate notes everywhere on like 17 different places. So because I never prep in the same place twice. Like I made a magic item while I was working at the reference desk this week.
Nice.
So
I'm gonna go find Sark and L
okay.
and wake up L if I have to.
I was about to say I'd assume that you had probably also seen Patrice and Sid leave, but you probably just sat there and had some coffee
Yeah.
and a croissant or something like that.
Uh-huh.
So you would know where they're at, and I'd say that you're walking up as you hear the sound of Sark waking L.
Perfect.
So
That
they
is the Captain Picard breakfast, by the way. Coffee and croissant.
followed by some Flemish cursing,
Uh-huh.
which is relatively familiar at this point.
I'm like, oh, I think L's alarm clock went off.
So as at this point,
Is SOA out there yet?
are you SOA?
I mean, she's up at this point, so I don't know if there's like a breakfast situation. Like, she's not looking for anybody. She's just gonna like do her own thing until her friends show up.
This is very much a Mediterranean breakfast.
Ooh,
So it's mostly pastries of the non-sweet variety, but with chocolate, like a chocolate spread, a hazelnut spread kind of thing, jam, leaning more towards the Middle Eastern cuisine, which let me tell you what, breakfast in northern Iraq is amazing. Really, really, really strong coffee that puts anything L makes to shame in strength, as well as the occasional piece of fruit.
nice. Sounds delightful. Yeah, well, once everybody's there, we're like, hey, let's go to that magic house.
Let me make sure that all my important things that I requested people to do. I think we're good. Unless Patrice or Sid want to ask the group anything. Is now that they're returning.
I don't think so.
Oh,
And
that
yeah, I know
cherry
we
was
got
spicy.
business today to deal with. I think we should do that. But I also have a few items on my list. I've never been to another city before. Kind of want to like see some stuff. We can go sightseeing later.
Sark will pocket 4 or 5 whole fruit from the breakfast.
So the they don't have like most of it is like a sliced melon kind of thing, but there are kind of like this purplish furry fruit, similar in appearance to like a peach or an apricot, but it's closer in flavor to a raspberry, and it's that soft, but it's the same texture as well.
Oh, I like these. What do you call these?
I don't think anyone in your group would know that.
Fruit.
What would I roll for that?
Nature?
All right.
Okay, for fun.
I mean, if it was to be anyone, to be you two. So
18.
oh, maybe you do.
Sark's not really
11.
So SOA, no.
Yeah.
It's fruit.
But Scald.
Yes.
What do we want to call it? This is what happens when you have to improv and you're not ready for what people are stealing. You have heard it called mountain fruit. It's a real simple name, but you also know that it's not the actual name. There's a deeper name.
There's like a real
But
name.
because 18 was pretty good.
Yeah.
You do know it's native to Wudan, but it comes from the northern part of the main continent, where there
Gotcha.
are some pretty drastic mountain ranges that spear up from the coast and cut about the northern eighth of the island off from the rest.
Gotcha. So I'll
It was
just be like, it's
Another
just
sailor, right, told you it's called mountain fruit.
yeah, mountain fruit. That's all it needs to be.
I was 50% of the way there.
Very close, very close.
It's fruit. You eat it so you don't get scurvy.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Sark's like, it's pocketable bribes for children.
What are you bribing children for?
I mean,
Information.
yeah.
I
Most
think
people
really
don't pay
good thieves.
attention. Most people don't pay attention to kids very much.
They're sticky.
Distraction.
I don't like sticky things.
The very adolescent elf shrugs.
Right.
Oh my god, that's funny. So what we'll say is,
Okay. Sark looks very deliberately at a like pot of honey, and then just shakes his head and walks away.
so here's what we're gonna do: is the six of you exit. That is actually a really good natural stopping point. We'll take our first break real quick, and then we'll be back in just a few. Welcome back, everybody, to Campaigns and Concoctions, where we are everyone's had a long week, and we haven't really made stuff tonight, which is weird for us. So we had Jared's drink that you guys heard him making last segment. So Jared, if you wouldn't mind describing what you made.
Yeah, so I don't know what this is, but it came out actually pretty good. It was 1.5 ounces Roku gin, 0.5 ounces yellow chartreuse. I think it was like 1.75 ounces blood orange juice, and then 2 bar spoons of date syrup. It was very rich. I stirred it, and then after I started drinking, I was like, this should have been shaken, but that's okay. It came out pretty good, though. It had like a velvety texture.
I really like that idea. I think
do
the
too.
yellow chartreuse sounds delicious with that.
So John,
That
if you
sounds
wouldn't
interesting.
mind educating us on, you should always shake almost always shake. We do have
Yes.
citrus in there, right?
Should always shake when you have citrus. Always. Yes.
That's what I thought. It's one of those things that I don't always know, but it seems that everything I make that has citrus in it, I shake.
Yes.
Of
Yeah.
course, anymore, the only thing I
Yeah.
make with citrus in it is a margarita. So.
One of the reasons is you want it to aerate.
Yeah, you want it to aerate. It changes the way that the citric acid interacts with stuff. And you also want to dilute it a little bit. So,
Well, I mean, and you get some dilution with the stir, just not as much, right?
yeah, not nearly as much. Yeah.
It's it's referred to as a controlled dilution when you stir.
Yeah.
There we go. See, not only do we make delicious cocktails, family, we're going to educate you on why you should do things the way you do, which is why James Bond is always incorrect in his in
100%.
preparation of martinis. One,
But I
vodka
think he does it
martinis
on
are not.
purpose.
Well,
Actually, in the books. Say again.
He drinks a vodka martini.
Yeah. Also, in the books, he doesn't drink vodka martinis. He drinks the Vesper,
Right.
which is a creation of Ian Fleming, which is spectacular, even though you can't officially make it anymore because some of the liquors are no longer in production.
I mean, you can't make his version. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean by that. You can make a Vesper now, and it's spectacular. It is quite delicious. Maybe one time we'll have to do that. We'll all make one if we're all separate from where we are now.
I think he shakes I think he has the vodka cocktail shaken on purpose to over dilute it, so
Yeah.
he doesn't drink too much and he can stay alert, but still look like he has a drink in his hand.
James Bond is my most problematic favorite spy ever. So
yeah, he's
an
definitely a problematic
extremely
person.
Problematic character, right?
Problematic.
Yes.
Because Ian Fleming was pretty fucking racist.
well, Ian Fleming was also one of the few people who was actually an operator before he wrote those books. So
Right,
he
right.
he
Yeah,
gets a
it
little bit
was-
of it right.
It
He was in
him
MI5
and
though.
Christopher. Who was the guy who played Sauron?
Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee. And
he
him were in
actu-
the same unit, right?
So when fun fact, when Peter Jackson was talking about sound design on how they were talking about the sound of someone being stabbed, Christopher Lee accurately described what the sound of stabbing is like, and it really freaked out Peter Jackson
Which is great.
because Christopher Lee is one of the most badass humans who has ever lived. He killed Nazis.
He did.
Yep.
He
Literally
did.
killed Nazis.
But not officially,
When he was like 60.
because
Yeah, he did. Also.
right, like that's the other fun thing about James Bond is it was maybe a little bit based on Christopher Lee
Mm-hmm.
and what Christopher Lee definitely didn't get up to during World War II.
Right. Right.
So there you go, family. A little bit of the fun facts that we all know randomly for no good reason, because don't ever sit down and drink with us when we're not focused, because you never know what the fuck is going to come out of our mouths. So, but with that being said,
We're focused.
The reason we know this is because the alpha Tolkien nerd of all time just also happens to be a great fucking spy.
Yeah.
And it's Christopher Lee.
Mm-hmm. Who knew Tolkien.
All right, who's gonna interrupt Morgan next time he tries to get us back on track?
It's all right.
Is it my
It's all
turn now?
good. We're doing nerd shit, so it's D&D adjacent. I'm okay with it. Now, if we start going a little bit further off, I will put Sergeant Houston voice on it. But as we exit Feather and Sheep, it is on the main north-south drag. If you guys remember from the last session, the north-south drag, which ends at the back end of the Black Diamond Ale Works, and it leads directly to the entrance of Mage House, which is a slightly incorrect name for the facility itself. It is a massive compound that, if you can picture some of those really massive mosques in the Arab world, and it's very much similarly built. It's almost like a mix between the Taj Mahal and the courtyard that surrounds the
Box.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. There in Mecca, But it's in that kind of style with the walls itself from afar. You can't really see through them, but we'll describe it as you get closer. I know that there was a talk of maybe scouting out a little bit. What would the six of you like to do?
I want to go to Mage House.
We might as well get paid for our travel time first and then figure out what we're doing.
Yeah.
All right, let's go get paid.
No.
The Kabbalah. Nope, that's not it.
Yeah.
The Kabah. The Kabah. That's what it is. The Kabah. For those of you, it was going to bug me if I didn't look that shit up. I kept wanting to say the Kabbalah, and that's that weird shit that Madonna follows. And then the Kabah is actually a beautiful courtyard. So, but I digress. So, you guys just going to go straight to?
No.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
All right.
Getting out of the way.
Say
If
again.
there's enough time on the way, I'm gonna try to have my drone pick Sid's pocket.
So this street is very, very wide. I don't know if you guys have ever seen them. It's kind of like a cross between like the Champs-Élysées and a large street in kind of like a colonial city in northern Africa. I think Cairo or Casablanca or something like that, where it's like it's the width of the Champs-Élysées, but also in the style of those northern African towns. So go ahead and roll a sleight of hand check for me, L. As the party is walking northwards, this whole street is nothing but merchants on the bottom floor with apartments above. Most of the time, it's the people who own the shops below who live above. And you see, if you look above, for those of you who are familiar with Assassin's Creed, when they have those like wicket kind of coverings at the top of the roof with flowering plants and greenery that goes up, it's fairly common for those plants to be overhanging the front of the building. You also hear, as you are continuing to walk, the sound of water cascading because there are quite a few fountains that are going in courtyards or at the top of buildings. So go ahead and tell me what that is, L.
Drink, motherfuckers, drink.
Wait, what was it?
That's 20.
Nice. Hey!
There we go.
Mark it, Jared.
Oh,
Which comes to a total of 24.
So Sid, I need to. What are you pickpocketing, L? Is it pockets or is it pouches?
Any pouch that's tied to a belt or something accessible.
On Sid, right?
I don't really think about what the heck.
So Sid, how many pouches do you have on your belt? That's accessible.
I'm trying to think what the hell she would carry. Not many.
I would say this is Morgan being able to kind of give you a little insight into your character because unfortunately I do know
That
this.
would be fair. Go ahead. I like that.
I would say you would have one obvious one, and you would carry only just display amounts of copper pieces and some non-important trinkets. Basically, the idea is that anyone who is trying to do what L's drone is doing, they would take that, and then the rest of your stuff is in more secretive places where it would be very difficult for them to take.
I think so I think, say you get, some copper pieces. I'm trying to think of like something from home. Maybe a couple pieces of random ore that she carries with her, just like random.
So in my world, electrum isn't a coin, but it is a metal that is used for certain types of things. So you would have, let's say you had like 3 pieces of unprocessed electrum.
Okay.
But with a natural 20 L, your drone would just take the whole pouch off of her belt. And go ahead and roll a D100 for me to see how many copper pieces she has.
51.
So you get 51 copper pieces and 3 pieces of unprocessed electrum in the pouch, which is a fairly solid. It's not flashy or showy, but it is a well-made leather pouch.
Electrum is the $2 bill of Liberarth.
In my world, it's actually it's fairly common in more technologically advanced because it's used for electronic transmission or electric transmission. So it's fairly common in Tinkermere. The reason that the legation of Crypsis is growing where Sid is from is because they have a rich vein in the mountains underneath their capital. So things like that.
Correct.
Deep lore, baby. Things that really don't matter to anybody.
But I
Careful with the eraser there, bro.
Don't undersell that lore. That was good shit.
Yeah. So, all right. So, what are you doing with that, El?
You're just gonna open it, look in, and then put it in a pocket somewhere.
Okay. So,
Well-
as this, go ahead.
I'm not gonna dump it out or anything. You're just gonna put the whole pouch in.
Okay. As the 6 of you are walking north, you actually watch as the gates open to Mage House. They are massive, enough to let in 2 elephants side by side. And as they open inward, you watch as it's funny because normally the ostentatiousness of government buildings, they would have like gold and the shiny stuff at the top.
Listen.
In this case, Mage House, it lines the bottom where there is gold, kind of like some sort of gold or silver plating that is reflecting back towards you. As you get closer, though, you notice that the walls are not as solid as they initially appear. So for those of you who have seen it, it's quite beautiful. There is lattice work that is fairly common throughout the Arabic world. The entire wall is made of it.
That's
You
cool.
can see through it. And you can obviously see that this is not designed. It may have initially been designed for defense. In this case, it's not. It's no longer for that option. It's more of a privacy thing. And so you kind of get this. If I actually can get everyone to roll a quick insight check for me, please. Getting a lot of lore tonight, unintentionally.
Man.
I feel okay with this.
14.
Okay.
What were-
Insight. I got 9.
Okay.
What the hell?
Okay.
4.
What's your
6.
dice?
Ooh, wow. What are we doing?
What was yours, Jared?
6.
Okay. And Patrice?
I got a 4.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I rolled 3
SOA.
dice.
What is
After I rolled
SOA?
that, I rolled a 2, I rolled a 3, and I rolled a 2 on the dice just now.
SOA. So, as someone who's kind of been around the block as a sailor, still a young sailor, but you do kind of have this, and mostly because of the bardness of yourself, you get the sense that this is almost like a contract between the ruling class of Tal Kabahad, which is a magiocracy, so it's based purely on magic power, and the people of the city. And while it's almost gives you the sense that it's, hey, we're looking out for you, right? And you guys did, if you guys remember, you did get a sense of that when you had the conversation at the ale house, was that there was not the concern was less about what they were doing and the fact of running the city because everyone was very happy with it, but the fact that no one had seen the leadership in a couple of weeks. As you come to the gates, there are a few guards. They carry very tall halberds that have about a 1.5 foot blade at the top. It's almost all wood pole, but no one stops you as you walk in. And there is a sign that says visitors check in, and it points directly to the largest building within the compound. As you walk in and notice there's multiple buildings throughout the compound. Some of them look like barracks, some look like houses, some look like laboratories. There's a little mix of everything. But it's a straight shot to the main building, which is a very large kind of that mushroomed dome on top of a square building. Think Aladdin, as much as I hate as that is kind of stereotypically racist, but it's a good representation of what I'm looking for here.
But with the architecture.
Yeah, and so there are two open doors that are inviting. As you walk in, you notice that there are lamps or torches on sconces that are lit. They aren't throwing off a lot of heat, and they are throwing off kind of a bluish hued light. Not quite the natural blue at the base of flames normally, so it's a little bit disconcerting, but it's there. There's also a very large desk with a male tiefling sitting there. Also, for those of you, if you don't recall from last session, lots of tieflings around.
Yeah.
Probably the greatest percentage of the population are tieflings. This one is red.
How far up the wall are the lamps that are giving off light?
Probably about 10 feet. It's a very tall, open space. Probably the ceilings are about 25 feet tall.
Okay.
A racing, please. Let's try and keep that to a minimum on the desk at HQ.
Great.
All right, what are you guys doing?
Gonna walk up to the desk and say, apparently we're here to check in for a job. Hear about a job?
And he looks up to you. He says, "Oh," and it's very much. If anyone has heard someone from Algeria, you can hear it's this really flowing English that is touched with French and Arabic. It's spectacular. It's one of my favorite things to ever listen to. Comes in and he says, "Oh, just one moment," and he flips to a specific page in a very large ledger book, and he scrolls down and he says, "Where was this job posted?"
Haven.
And he watches his finger moves down, and he moves across, and he says, "Oh, well, you need to go see Yamina Jamari, and she is located on the 3rd floor," and gives you really good directions on how to get there.
Okay. Do you need anything else from us?
No, we are fairly open. The only thing is the 4th floor is off limits. If you do happen to enter there are no warnings. Most likely, depending, you look like stoic in solid figures. Unfortunately, I don't think you will be able to overcome the magic that will handle you.
Well, now I'm just curious.
I know you are,
Why,
but you
why would
asked.
you tell him that?
Threats, impressive magic really are not helpful. I got to be honest with you.
You asked, and I am obligated to tell you, because I don't want to see you turned into a pile of ash.
That's fair. I appreciate the sentiment.
I don't particularly want to be a pile of ash either.
Yeah, but you want to know what's going to turn you into a pile of ash.
I want to watch it turn someone else into a pile of ash.
Well, it is the domain of the Wahid and Ducks, and that is off limits to all but the members of the order.
Noted.
What was that name one more time that we're going to meet?
Yamina Jamari.
Yeah, Yamina, YAMNIA JOUMARI. Yamina Jamari.
Thank you.
Beautiful name.
Very beautiful. He does give directions. You see that there is kind of, those big sweeping stairs that wrap around. You see that it's is a sweeping helix staircase that goes all the way up to at least the 4th floor. As you walk up, one of the major constants of walking around the city is that crackling sense of arcane magic that is just imbued within the city. And as you rise higher, the tingling causes the hair on everyone's arms and the back of the neck to just rise because it's just so powerful. And I would say, who would be the most likely? It'd probably be Patrice, and Elle would get the most direct read on this, where it is just this pure sense of arcane energy. For you, Elle, it reminds you of being around some of the more powerful wizards.
So it's equal parts comforting and terrifying.
Yes, I think that's fair. Reminds you of Prosperin very much.
Yeah, so equal parts comforting and terrifying.
Yeah, that's what made me say that. So, as you walk to the 3rd floor, the space, I guess the most direct comparison I could give is to Special Edition Bespin, where it's both enclosed and open at the same time. Most of the walls that look into seating areas and sitting rooms are of that lattice work, but are even more open. And then the actual offices are enclosed and closed off. You follow the directions of Amal Taha, who is the receptionist, and you find an office that is open to you that has the proper number next to it. It's open, ready for you to enter. As you enter, you walk in and you see a purple tiefling sitting at a desk. She is scribing away with a quill on parchment. And she obviously acknowledges you come in as she is writing. Her finger comes up and she finishes, and there is a scent of jasmine and cedar wood, as there is a light bit of smoke in the air from incense that is burning in the room. And she finishes her writing, and she looks up in a very honeyed tone. Greetings. What is it that you need?
We heard you had a job.
Which job posting? Where was this posted in?
Haven.
Yes, that job. Well, I believe there was payment due for just seeking out the job, yes?
Correct.
I believe it was 50 gold pieces or for the job.
Right.
That sounds
I
right.
don't know if I wrote that one down.
60 would make it easier to split between us.
She turns around and you hear kind of this chuckle. And she reaches into there's a set of dresser drawers behind her. She opens it up and she pulls out a small pouch and lays it on the table. The 50 that was advertised. So thank you for those of you who have come. I take it that you are interested in pursuing a job here with us at Mage House.
I think that probably depends on the job.
Well, the order has come into some knowledge that has great implications for those of us here on the continent. We are seeking an item that we believe to be underneath the mountains of northern Wudan. This will not be safe, nor will it be easy. We are seeking the mortar and pestle of the 3 ladies.
Can I roll something to see if I recognize what that is?
History.
Sam. God.
I'm
13.
going to as well.
As people start looking around and start thinking, I walk over to L and to SOA, and I place my hands on each of their shoulders, and I cast guidance. Say Haven.
What was it? Who'd you do it with?
I did it for L and SOA.
That adds what, a D4?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
I appreciate it. It's not going to help.
So I believe I heard Scald say a 13.
13.
Okay.
Sark has a 14.
Okay.
I'll got a 20.
Oh,
Holy muffins!
You said
Well.
24, L?
25.
What was yours, SOA?
12.
Okay. Anyone else that I missed?
I rolled a 7, but it's,
Yeah, okay.
that's not important.
So, L, you know this because your employer has told you about some of the weird things that happen in the park just to the north of his building, particularly a group of adventurers who had come within the last 20 years or so and had called upon some of the spirits. The three ladies are generally one of the many forms of the many personifications of druidic magic in the world. And you got a 25, so you're going to get all the fucking lore. There are three kind of known types of magic in the world. There's the arcane, which encompasses the wizards, sorcerers, bards. There is the druidic, nature-ish magic, and then there is the divine. The druidic has personifications very similar to the way that the divine and warlock kind of things happen. One of the more common ones throughout the region of the Syndicate and some of the more traditionally Northern European style cultures of Libarth, they celebrate three ladies: the maiden, the mother, and the crone, and they are represented by three ravens. And they give their flavor of druid is very much viney and thorny.
Cool.
And it is there are rumors of them living in a house in the in-between that at times walks.
Does it have chicken legs?
Very much so.
Excellent.
Of all the references. We're such
I'm taking some of Morgan's some of Libarth's lore and mixing it with some official D&D lore because this is way more fun.
Do I need to buy that miniature now?
Yeah, I think so.
Who doesn't like Baba Yaga?
Ding 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 ding. I knew you guys would get it.
Of course.
I mean, I've been there before.
Matt's been there before. That was fun. That was a
It was
fun
fun.
fucking. Oh my god, that was so fun. That was my very first introduction of the in between, which has caused some chaos every time anyone's gone there. The in between is fun.
So, is there any information other than that this will be dangerous and north?
We do know that you can find this item. We don't know what happens. We can point you and give you a map to the location of a cave where this item lies. We don't know, and this is saying something, because we take very much a great deal of pride in knowing everything that happens on this continent. But we cannot tell you if you're going to find this item here or if maybe there's someplace else that it is. But this is the first place that you need to look. And you watch as she rotates back around in her chair, and she opens up another drawer, and she gives you this is again why I wish that I was there in person, because you guys know you would be getting this if I'd be handing it to you. She gives you a map.
Yay!
And I will draw the map and put in Wonder Draft, and I will post it in the Discord for everybody once I draw it. So
That works then.
What's the pay for this?
100 platinum. If you bring proof of a destroyed mortar and pestle, 300 platinum if you bring it back. And please no, don't try and negotiate. These are set prices. This is what it will be. That's Morgan interjecting there because I don't want to negotiate.
Totally fair.
Is this an open contract that will be competing with other?
No. We will reopen it if you do not come back in 2 weeks. So 16 days. We don't believe in competition. We believe in exclusivity. We believe in trust. We believe that by providing an open contract to multiple teams shows that we don't believe in your ability. Just the fact that you found this job and were able to survive in getting here, the dangerous trip from Haven to here has taken many a mariner. We believe that you have proven yourself worthy as deserved of this pay.
Why did you post it in Haven?
We believe that those coming from a place like Haven have an adaptability that many here in the north don't. We get stuck in our ways. The pirates, the sailors, the locals there in Haven, y'all are inventive. The people who come through there are creative. We're creative in a sense, but mostly it has to do with scrolls and crafting of magic. I mean, one of the first schools of magic was formed in one of our sister cities, the School of Invention. And the Magiocracy here, the Order, has deep roots in the creation of magic items. However,
sorry, keep talking. I apologize. I just found my note.
You're good.
Finally.
Unfortunately, once we get out of the urban environment and our scrolls, sometimes our creativity leaves us. We recognize that we are lacking in some of those adventuring skills, which is why we constantly seek those from outside to assist us.
Definitely takes all kinds, doesn't it?
It certainly does. That is a wise thought, sir.
So you want us to go retrieve some priceless magical artifact that you can't retrieve, and you're going to give us 300 platinum for it?
If you bring it back in 2 pieces. Because it is 2 items together. The mortar.
It's a mortar
pestle.
and a pedestal. Okay, I understand that. Okay.
What constitutes proof of destruction?
He's really good at breaking stuff.
I mean,
So, like there is a good chance that our gnome friend here might break it too well. She's very talented.
Not saying I just want to know what we have to bring back to get paid if we get nothing else.
So she turns back around to her chest of drawers, and she opens one on the left side at the bottom. And you watch as she kind of does that like librarian thing through a card catalog. And she pulls out a piece of parchment, and she lays it down in front of the party. And it is it's called a scroll of remembering. It's very on point. But what it is it's a 9th level spell that allows you to take an instant mind image and transmit it to in perfect recollection to another. So it's like a whole thing. So like whoever casts the spell can takes an instant image of it and then holds it in their memory until they get to a designated person, and then transmits the image to them.
Fair enough.
I just don't want it to be easy for you guys to remember shit, because then I have to remember shit, hence the 9th level. And none of you are wizards, so I don't have to worry about you guys writing it down in your goddamn spell book.
Curtis, why didn't nobody play wizard?
We played 2 sorcerers because we're, I don't know, uninventive.
Yeah, right.
Basic, also
Well,
basic.
I will say in my game, wizard is really on the nose, right? Like it's like the perfect character, the class for like it's my class, right? It's like what I would play. So I think.
So real quick, it was 200 gold pieces for going to each house.
Retcon, strike that, reverse it. It's got 200 gold. You open it and it's wow, 200 gold. That.
Yeah. Right.
50 means something different to these people. I like it.
Yeah. It was one of the few things I actually wrote down, and I knew I wrote it down somewhere.
Well, that's why I trust you guys to like. I don't write those little the prices.
I'm being very careful to only write down stuff Skeld would actually be paying attention to.
I like it. I like it.
It's like the money's in here somewhere.
But I always am like, this is player knowledge.
Right? Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's fair.
So you watch as she says, "There's the spell, there's the terms," and she casts obviously some sort of somatic component to a spell, and you watch as a contract appears in front of you.
3.3.
And a floating quill is sitting there waiting. While we do trust, we also do prefer signed contract. The only thing that this says, and as you look, you watch as the words are being written across this parchment, and she speaks them. For 100 gold, proof of destroyed mortar and pestle.
Platinum.
Thank you, platinum. For 300 platinum, return with the mortar and pestle of the 3 ladies. The quill finishes and lines out 6 spots on one side and a singular one. And underneath the singular one, you see the name Yamina Jamari Proctor. Proctor is the title, her title. She flips it around, and she, in a very beautiful, like literal John Hancock signature, large, is gorgeous. Yamina Jamari, and then she turns it around and she kind of sends a very gently floating quill towards your group.
Therese grabs it first.
You can also go ahead.
I'm gonna walk up to sign the document, and I'm going to do my best calligraphy to match the style that she's doing.
Performance check, please.
Hell yeah.
You all can definitely tell that she's definitely not the most powerful magic user she has seen, but she is very, very competent in the arcane magic.
Is it performance?
Yes, please.
That is a 25.
You have written and signed your name in the most beautiful form you have ever done in your life. Patrice, family name. I actually don't. Thank you. I'm like, I knew you had one. I couldn't remember it.
Middle name is probably not written out. I don't normally write out my middle name with my signature.
Anyone else going to come up and sign after Patrice signs?
Esme makes an X.
As does Scald. Scald did that, but in the past. Scald X.
Yeah. Scald is also going to put an X. Yeah.
Everyone else signing on?
Ella's going to wait till after Sid does.
Sorry, I'm looking for something. I can't find it.
Are you signing though, Sid?
Yeah, what was my military title? Remember? I was looking for it.
You were a warrant officer.
Would I sign with that title?
So generally, someone who reaches that high, you would sign, and then you would put your title warrant officer, and then in parentheses RET for retired.
Okay,
because that's something that you've earned that you get to keep.
Yeah, so I think kind of out of a habit, you're gonna see it's very formal. Acetosis Mazog, warrant officer retired. Like,
and then you would probably put Legion of the Dagger on there as well.
Legion of the Dagger, something like that. Yeah.
And then Sark and L.
I was gonna try to not put a ton of effort, but try to step in between everybody else in the group and the paper when he signs. He's gonna put his full name in.
Okay. And then what are you doing, Sark? Are you trying to be automaton?
No, I'm going to try and forge her last name in mirror script for my signature.
Okay, go ahead and roll a performance check for me, please.
If I roll a dirty 20 on perception, can I see L's full name?
Go ahead and do sleight of hand, L.
Can I get my proficiency bonus for being attempting to forge because I'm proficient with forgery tools?
Yes.
Okay. Because this is going to suck with charisma. That's a 5. That's sad.
You fail miserably, and you watch as she lifts her left hand, and she just kind of goes, shh, and she wipes away because she saw what you were doing. She rolled a 21 for perception.
You had to make a performance. It's charisma based. Horrible at charisma.
Well,
that's what it is, though. It's a performance when you forge,
right?
But
I'm also proficient in other stuff. That's fine.
And you got your proficiency, so I mean,
I know. I'm still just like freaking charisma in the dice.
I don't know. I'd let him add Dex to that.
All right, we have to retcon the title because I did get to Sergeant of the Dagger.
Sergeant of the Dagger. Okay, yep.
I had it somewhere.
That's fine. I'm gonna let it go. And then just do like an X with a circle, like as a circle with an X.
Oh.
I wasn't sure if you had made it all the way up because you had.
I'm putting that in my notes,
to that,
Dustin.
This is a whole discussion that happened like 8 months ago now.
Yeah. Actually, it's been a year.
Has it been a whole year? Holy shit.
So, L, what was your sleight of hand check?
Oh, I got the name. He texted me it.
Perfect. Thank you. Technology is great for that, right? It's the greatest thing ever. I love it. Well, welcome.
Whispers.
As welcome to the employ of the order, as long as it lasts. We wish you success. And in that vein, is there anything that you need from us to ensure your success?
Per diem, health potions, per diem, more health potions.
Yeah, remember what I said about negotiating a price?
Yeah.
Health potions would be great, though.
Health potions, and you watch as she gently waves, and there are 6 potions that initially line up that are kind of golden, and you each get 1 greater healing potion.
Ooh.
And then there are 12 potions of healing that come out afterwards.
Nice.
We like to ensure that you all come back in one piece.
We each get
We very much appreciate that.
2
regular healing. Okay.
I feel like I'm going to enjoy working for the order. As he puts the scroll and the potions in the bag of holding.
We wish you all the success. Now, if you wouldn't mind, I do have work.
Of course. And now we'll turn.
Yep.
As the 6 of you exit the office, that's where we'll take our next break, and
Excellent.
we'll be right back in just a few. Welcome back, everybody, to Campaigns and Concoctions, where we can't decide what is okay to say and what's not. So, with that being said, we have drinks.
I love it because mine's a ginger, and I'm like, oh, that's a great opener. All right,
We have drinks.
so I made a random thing. I don't know what it was. Staring at liquor bottles and going, this combo sounds great. It's 1.5 ounce of the Brennivine. It's Icelandic, so I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Aquavit. 1 ounce of the. It's right here.
Oh, thank you. I think it's Brennivine.
Brennivine.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
I think.
So 1.5 ounce of that Aquavit. 1 ounce of the Drillade Pear Poirier? I don't know. Pear liqueur from France. 2 dashes of Angostura bitters, and then about 2 ounces of ginger beer to your taste. We use cock and bull. Shake everything with the ginger beer, and then just top it off with the ginger beer. It's super tasty. I have no idea what to call it.
That sounds lovely. I want to try it. Make sure to put that recipe in the Discord because I want to try it.
Yeah, the picture's not gonna look great because it's in a copper mug. So
I keep forgetting to take
put a
fucking pictures
recipe.
today.
That's all right. I've already posted. I posted my my Manhattan on Instagram. I think it looks really. I thought it was a really. What do you think, John? I thought it was a pretty good picture. So
It's fucking beautiful.
Is it the one with
Absolutely
the computer in the
beautiful.
background, right?
yes, it is.
The computer also looks good.
So thank you. I appreciate that. I'm very proud. I wish I had bought a better case, but that's a learning curve. So,
All right.
and then we had one more drink, I believe.
Yeah, I made threw it together. I'm a little disappointed with it. It's not bad, but it's not great. It's 1.5 ounces rye whiskey, ½ ounce pear liqueur, ½ ounce cherry herring, ounce blood orange juice, and I did put and I threw in a rosemary sprig in when I shook it, and then I added one dash of Angostura to try to make it a little bit more interesting. It made it better, but still not great. Anyway, that's what I made.
Apparently, I need pear liqueur
Well,
because that sounds
It
wonderful.
is good stuff.
I
good.
tasted it last break. Nate handed it to me right at the beginning. I don't remember.
It
And
sounds
so
wonderful. I generally don't like pear, but I think pear is a really good accent. Like one of my favorite dishes that I had in Italy was a pear fagottini, which is like a kind of like a large ravioli, and it is wonderful. But it's not the star of the dish, but it really makes the goat cheese that was in it. It's just like pear is one of those things that you don't have to like it, but it makes things better.
Oh,
Right?
it totally does. Especially
Yeah.
like candied pear. Like if you caramelize pear in a pan with some butter or something
Yeah.
like it does some work.
try
Because
Nice.
My
Red
favorite
pears versus
baked
the
thing that I make is
Yeah.
an apple and pear
Hell
mini
yes.
pie.
I did a Tony confit with a pear. I did yellow onions caramelized in Kerrygold butter, salted, and then essentially candied the pears in the
Tasty.
slow sautéed caramelized onions, and it was so good. I mean, it was almost better than the rabbit itself, which is ridiculous and hard to do.
So as the 6 of you, I knew we'd keep going if I didn't stop us because it would be very dangerous for us to talk about food and booze. So the 6 of you exits the office of Yamina Jamari and make your way down the stairs. And as you exit, it is now about midday. There is a lovely warm breeze that is blowing from the west. It carries scents of saffron, tamarind, goat that is cooking. It is just like this lovely scent that is just permeates the city. As the six of you begin to exit Mage House, is there anything anyone would like to do?
As we get close to the gate, I'm gonna walk up next to Sid and go, so why do you carry raw electrum around?
Why do you ask?
Because carrying raw ores is kind of odd.
How do you know?
Oh, this is yours.
Oh shit!
Where did you get this from?
My drone picked it from you on the way in.
Why?
Because I wanted practice.
Don't touch my shit.
Well, if you noticed.
But secondly, I come from Krabakdo and in the legation, and my father and my brother are miners. It reminds me of home.
Yeah, that's fair. I didn't take anything out of it.
Don't touch my shit without asking, please. Next time you're gonna.
Does that mean if he asks to pickpocket you, you'll let him?
Sure.
All right.
Maybe.
You were just practicing?
Al, don't fuck with other people's shit.
I give it back.
Al, if you want to practice pickpocketing on me, just don't take my money, my booze, or my cigars.
What else do you even have, Skald?
I'm sure I have other stuff.
I don't know what I don't know what I'm pickpocketing until I take it, though.
Well, this is the cigar pouch. This is the money pouch. Don't take those.
Oh, let me put it this way. Would you like anyone coming in and touching your in-progress inventions?
I mean, it's probably not a great plan.
You
It
never
doesn't really bother me that much, but it might bother you a little bit.
You never know what you're going to find in somebody's pocket.
No,
You might just lose a hand.
that's why I didn't use my hand.
That was the right response, Morgan.
Yeah. Yeah, that checks
Actually, except for L, because L had said drone, Sid would actually have said you might lose a drone.
You might lose a drone.
Mm-hmm.
And I can rebuild them.
Jesus.
Go ahead and roll an insight check though, L. I'm not even gonna have you roll anything because I know exactly what I know that's response for Sid.
That's low, very low.
Doesn't matter. You're pretty sure that she means it and she can do it.
Yeah.
I just want to put the right amount of gravitas on Sid, you know.
You just saw her what she signed. It's not like some ordinary title.
Has this conversation carried us like outside of the actual confines of Mage House at this
Yeah,
point?
I'll say yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna be like, hey, I got somewhere to go.
Well, before you take off on this subject, why are we going to bring this priceless magical artifact that we're being commissioned to go get back?
Because we're getting paid 300 platinum.
300 platinum, I believe is the reason. It'd be really cool to prepay our crew for another like 6 months.
I think it's more than that, but that's not my point, right? Like if it's right, like we're in a city ran by fucking mages, and they want this shit, and they're willing to pay us to go get it. We're just accepting that that's like the going rate for this kind of magic, and also we don't just want this kind of magic.
I mean, you have a very good point. I'm not saying you don't.
And my plan is to go see if anybody that we know knows anything about this thing that may change what we do. But unless it changes significantly, pissing off magic people is not generally a great plan in my experience.
Look,
But I get that, but we don't know what the fuck we're bringing back at this point.
can any of us even use it? I don't do magic, so I don't even know if any of us could use this thing.
I think every time,
No idea.
and progressively that Scald says this, he gets like wayward eyes from Patrice, from
You mean from Sid?
Oh,
Sid, Patrice, all of them kind of like more and more like just keep looking like pretty sure you know fucking magic, but you know.
Nah, Elf just rolls with it. If that's what he wants to think, that's what he can think. Doesn't change the fact that it's magic.
right. El, you don't understand that you're doing magic. We understand this. And the rest of us do magic for the most part.
Yeah, but do you know how to use a mortar and pestle that's magic?
Well, I
Maybe not.
saw Patrice use one this morning.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that.
I mean, using a mortar and pestle is not that hard.
Yeah, but I
It's
mean,
what
to
kind
do
of
magic
magic it
with
is.
it. To
Well-
do magic with it.
Patrice, would you
Also,
do
this
magic
is
with
like
that mortar and pistol?
Scary druid magic.
I wouldn't call it like arcane in nature, but you know, like I don't know. I don't know anything about magic mortar and pestles. I just have the normal kind.
Patrice, are you a druid? You look weird.
You do it pretty.
I would refer to myself as druid adjacent.
Classism in D&D.
Like I've known druids. I'm not a druid, you know, but like not that different really.
Don't druids hang out in the forest mostly?
Patrice doesn't look very Druish.
Yeah, he's not. He's not. But is his sister a Druish princess?
Morgan, it's Spaceballs. Come on.
It's Spaceballs.
See that? Did you see the head tilt? I'm surrounded by assholes.
Also, according to the Jerry Seinfeld rules of comedy, I'm allowed to make Jew-adjacent jokes because I'm half Jewish.
That dentist
Again.
sucks.
I am surrounded by assholes.
Correct.
So
Absolutely correct.
Yeah,
continue.
The three sisters that they referred to with, or that she mentioned with the mortar and pestle, that's druid stuff. I don't know how any of that magic works. I can tell you how a lot of the arcane stuff works, or I can figure it out. But I don't know about druid or holy whatever.
Would we feel more comfortable if we found out what this thing does?
Probably.
All right. Well, let's ask the people that we know that know things and see if
That was
you
my
know.
plan.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily saying we skip the payday and we don't bring it back. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Maybe
But
no.
these
Give it to people we don't know.
they gave us a map to a magical artifact. We should figure out what that does and figure out what our options are.
Oh yeah.
That's fair. Do you guys want to come with me to somebody who might be able to either find information for us or may already have information for us?
I'm gonna go talk to other people who might already have information or can find information for us.
All right, that works.
Where are you going?
To a house with no doors.
The conclave.
Yeah, that's them.
Do I know what that means?
No.
For that conversation at dinner.
There was a discussion about the convocation of Ebony and Bone at dinner.
Well, that's why I don't think Matt was there for that conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, was it dinner?
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah, you were there.
Okay.
Well, I told you guys.
Yeah, we talked about the conclave of
yeah.
Ebony and Bone,
We talked about that.
and that smashing in the wall of a house full of assassins is probably not a great plan.
We can just also ask Prosperin, right? We can contact her.
I don't want to bug her for
Yeah.
simple questions. Giving her a unique Dragonborn was one thing.
Right.
I'm not calling her up to ask for simple questions.
Also,
You can also
Calling
ask
her to-
somebody who knows probably more than one of the few people who probably knows more than Prosperin.
I mean, the Prospering card, I think, based on my very limited experiences with her, is like, does she want to buy this shit?
that's what I was just thinking as well, SOA, was
Yeah.
like, what if she wants to buy it?
But you find out what it is first before we offer to sell it to somebody.
That's true.
All right.
But like, she always seems to be leaving right when I get there. You know.
We did also sign a contract.
Yeah.
What if it's like cursed and dangerous? And I mean, like it could be awful. Like maybe they're sending us because they know it's dangerous. The item itself, maybe not even the journey.
That's probably why they are sending us.
Was there anything on the contract that stipulated ramifications for failure to fulfill the contract?
There was nothing written, but if you would like, I would let you roll an Arcana check to see about this because it is technically a magical contract.
Three Scuttle 2.
9.
So Scald rolled it. Did you roll something, Curtis?
Three Scuttle 2.
2. You don't know shit, Patrice, with a 2. But even with a 9, it's not much. The only thing that you know, Scald, is bad idea to not honor the terms of a magical contract.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, I feel like
because Morgan doesn't know.
we're probably better off just doing what we said we're going to do on this one.
Yeah.
If it was, spit in my palm in a handshake, I might think differently, but it wasn't. And despite the fact that I only wrote an X on that line, I have a feeling that it's the action of signing it more so than it is what is written.
Well, I approached that with much different intent than you with my X.
What was your intent?
I didn't want to put my name on that.
Same. But we still took the action of agreeing to it.
Would I know if that matters?
Roll an Arcana check.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, you get advantage because it is a magical object.
Arcana. It's a 27.
Yeah, it really does not matter. The intent behind the reason that magical people like to use magical contracts is because it doesn't really necessarily matter what you put on it. It is the intent behind the signature. And so, because there are many people, in fact, most people in this world that cannot actually read or sign. So the act of marching an X actually means something to them. So in this case, it would really not matter.
Well, SOA's intent was that she didn't sign shit. So if the intent's what matters, she was trying to be deceptive and not sign something in that moment.
Okay. Well, would SOA have signed magical contracts before, though?
No, she just didn't want to put her name on something because.
So even
the entire time.
So in this case, even with the deceptive and it's the idea is to prevent that deceptive intent from working. So if SOA hadn't signed a magical contract before, that your intent was still there. It's just that the magical contract will negate it. You know what I'm saying? So.
Gotcha. Yeah.
The fact that you actually physically signed it is what matters.
Right.
What
Even if you put your name. Yeah.
Bad choice of words on my part. So.
And I will explain that as they're still walking, discussing it.
Okay, so is that where we're headed next, to the mountains of Wudon?
Well, I'm going to the convocations building first.
Oh, I meant in the ship.
Probably.
When we leave port, is that our next heading?
Probably.
Yeah.
Ships don't typically go to mountains, Patrice.
They
Ours
fly.
flies.
I get that.
You're gonna have to get used to that. It's way fucking faster.
It's okay, little buddy. You'll get used to it. And I pat SOA on the shoulder.
Which is much higher than your shoulder.
No, higher than mine? How tall is SOA?
SOA's like the 5'6". She's not particularly tall.
Tiny.
Oh,
I don't think.
I in my head, elf equals tall.
Yeah, 5'6".
I
Yeah.
was wrong.
I mean, she's only a couple inches shorter than Skeld, but she's still not, towering.
What it is that elves are historically portrayed as lithe, so they have this. They look taller than what they are.
They're just lanky
Maybe.
motherfuckers like me.
Yeah, we're the same height.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure even in your armor, I still weigh more than you, though.
Probably.
I think Sark and I are gonna go check in with the.
With our organization.
Yeah.
I'm
So-
250 with my gear.
I'm
And
265 without gear.
So here's what we're gonna do. We got about 20 minutes left before we end tonight's session. We're gonna start with Scald with the convocation. We're gonna
Cool.
see where that goes, and then we'll go to Nine Brothers. And then if anyone has anything else that they would like to do, we'll do that afterwards. But most likely, I have a feeling that we'll end with Scald, and then we'll pick up with Nine Brothers next week, or next session, if that's cool with everybody.
Yeah, sounds good.
That's
Shaking
gonna go with Scald.
Okay, I was about to say you're shaking your head, Matt.
No. Like I feel like she's just like feels like she's making bad choices now that Elle's explained how what she tried to accomplish did not work.
I think that's fair, though.
She's just in like fuck it mode.
It's one of those where it's like I had a feeling that no one had really signed magical contracts, so I probably should have done a better job, but we'll deal with that repercussions as we go.
I feel like Scald probably has, but has never really thought about it that much.
I think that's fair
You
too.
know, like he's probably done it and just
Patrice was told to do new things.
You know,
I feel like Al probably had a fair idea what was going on when he signed it,
So
even if he's never done it before.
the danger of being a DM is sometimes you lose track of things and you forget to ask. So lesson learned. So
Shit happens.
who else is gonna go with Scald and SOA to the facility?
just the
Looks
two
like
of
that's
us.
it.
Just the two of us. We can make it if we try.
Since we're trying to get in a building with
Right?
doors and no windows.
Sounds
That'd be awesome.
Oh, did he mention the no doors and no windows?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll go with as well.
Okay. So Patrice is gonna go.
Oh
So
God.
as the party splits, you guys had actually seen the building kind of tucked away on the west side of the island. So as you guys are coming down, it's to the right of you, and it stands out because it's a little bit taller than the rest of the buildings. It's 4 stories tall. Most of the buildings around here are 3. Outside of Mage House, they're pretty. It's a pretty uniform city, but this one extra floor seems to stand out. And as you walk towards it, you notice that yes, it does mimic the style of the buildings around it. But the first 2 floors are exactly as Fadma described it. No doors, no windows. The 3rd floor has windows. The 4th floor has windows. And as it's midday, there's no lights that you can see shining. She did tell you to move to one of the back alleys when you go and to face the building. So what do the 3 of you do?
I say, just follow me, and I walk into the alley as described. I walk up to the wall. I stand there in essentially like parade rest, right? Cigar hanging out of my mouth, puffing away with my hands behind my back, feet at like shoulder width, and just staring directly at the wall, waiting.
I cast Armor of Agathos on myself.
Okay.
Do I see this? I mean, I have to see the rime of frost cover you, right?
Yep. For sure. Yeah,
I
you
just
see
kind
it.
of like lean my head over and look at you out of the corner of my eye, and I start chuckling, and then I look back at the wall.
You're not trying to be deceptive, are you, S-Way?
No.
Okay. And Patrice, you do anything?
Just waiting.
Patrice says, "Haven, protect me," and he pulls his fist in front of his face and he applies mage armor.
Yeah, what's everyone's passive perception?
12.
4.
For the 3 who were there.
Oh wait, 15. I haven't updated
Okay.
that. 15.
10 plus, right?
Yep.
14.
Okay.
So
guys-
are we going after a window, Scald? What do you think we're supposed to do here?
So right before Scald answers, everyone feels something akin to a burlap sack going over their heads. But there's no pressure. It's not like it's being pulled tight. The sack hits the top of their heads.
Does it knock my cigar out of my mouth?
It does not.
All right. I take another puff and start chuckling.
And then Scald hears a familiar voice. The rest of you hear a female voice that says, "You may remove the hood." As the three of you remove the sack, you are now in the interior of a building. What appears to be an Arabic sitting room. There is a coffee machine very similar to what Elle has on the ship. It's cooking away. It appears to be making some coffee. There's a couple of trays of baklava and cucumber sandwiches. And Fadma is there. Fadma Sabari. She says, "Well, I always hope that people will come by themselves, but I always expect them to come bearing friends. Welcome to the interior of the convocation of Ebon and Bone. You are welcome here as long as you maintain the peace that is here." And she motions to SOA and to Patrice and says, "This room here is yours to enjoy as long as Scald here is indisposed. Do not try and leave. Things will be brought to you as needed, but do not leave this room."
So
Is
you're
that
saying we're
understood?
being detained?
Yes. As a matter of fact, you are. It will be a comfortable detainment, though. That is for sure. Coffee, tea, snacks will be provided for you, and then you watch. And the thing is, so Fadma her face is completely uncovered. You see that she is a red tiefling, if I remember my notes correctly. She is wearing like if you were to see kind of like the tropey, like thieves garments, that kind of baggy pants, the kind of high boots and everything. Everything though is kind of that ivory and black, right?
Right.
But if you look around, you notice that two people have now walked into the room, and the bottom of their face is covered with a face covering, very much like kind of like an assassin's look, that kind of the assassin look, and
Yeah.
hoods that cover up, and it's literally just kind of like this little bit slit of eye that's available to them.
Yeah.
Same very much coloration. It's just that these are not as elaborate as Fadma's clothing, but there is a very serious demeanor to these two. It says, "These two will be keeping an eye on you. They will not interfere with you unless you attempt to leave this room. Please know that we mean you no harm. However, the secrets of the convocation are that secret."
Does this feel like genuine? Right? Like,
Roll an insight check.
that's a natural one.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Time to
drink, motherfucker, drink.
Yeah. No Malort, thankfully.
not this time. Even I'm not this time.
We're going Espelone.
That was a one.
That was a good choice.
Yep.
So good. Yeah, it feels 100% genuine. The implied threat is very serious, but it's like cursing in French, right? It's got a layer of velvet that coats the steel to it, so it feels softer, but you know that it's real, right?
Okay.
So you know that like the threat is there only because it's necessary. You almost get the sense that she doesn't like the threat, like, we're here to conduct business, and if it was up to me, this business would be more open, but it's not. We have our rules, kind of shit, right? It's very professional, and it's very cordial. It's the way that someone who is very dangerous says, "Please don't do that."
Right.
Right. So But the two of you, and it's very Arabic in its setting. The rugs are gorgeous. There's little, almost like kind of like bean bags, low tables, but it's wonderful. It's a very nice space. There's even a hookah there, right? Like if you wanna imbibe. So, but if the two of you wouldn't mind, Scald, you have questions.
Yeah, I look at Fadma and I'm like, well, I know for a fact that this one can keep secrets. And I point at SOA. And very pointedly, don't point at Patrice.
Unfortunately.
Also not at myself.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, we anticipate that you're going to share the knowledge that we share with you today.
Excellent.
But we keep it this way for a reason. And you are the only one who were invited.
You're not wrong.
So if you would follow me, please.
Excellent.
So you are taken through a very convoluted set of hallways, lefts, rights, stairs, both up and down. It almost feels like you shouldn't be in the building anymore. You know, it's one of those where it's like you're disoriented, right? And so go ahead and make, oh man, what's the good one? Let's go, I guess, perception check on that one.
That's going to be, I want to say a 19. Yeah, 19.
So you're not completely lost. You could find your way back, but you still feel that like you should be outside the building. Like you should be walking in thin air, right? It doesn't make sense, but you could still find your way back, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? Eventually, you are led to a large black painted set of double doors. There are two guards who are there, who are standing in front of them. These two are, again, in the same ivory and black robes, masked and hooded. They are carrying, I don't know the proper term, but it's one of those like staffs that like where half of it is a blade, like the Chinese style.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And so they hold those across the chest, opposite side, so the blade is away from the door.
Yeah.
It's very wicked looking. The doors open apparently of their own accord, and you walk into a very, very dark room.
Okay.
And as you hit the center, 7 lights shine down on 7 individuals that are masked but not hooded.
Interesting.
And you see 5 tieflings, an elf, and what appears to be a gnome sitting there. Skjald, the Fell-Hounded.
That's me.
We know you.
I'm sure you do.
You have asked for information, and we are here to give it.
Excellent.
Name 2, and we will give you information.
Can we do this?
Fuck. Dandy Bill.
Dandy Bill is Dandy. This is Morgan asking. Dandy Bill was the one who was an employee of Gansworth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's the one connected to my mother.
That's right. Yep. Dandy Bill is currently the captain of the Scarlet Wind. A merchant soldier ship of Gansworth. You are not the only one to seek him. In fact, he is pissed off enough that his only opportunities for survival is in the bosom of Gansworth and their things. I'm assuming you understand what that means.
I do. Do you know whereabouts his ship is right now?
He's currently in port in Gansworth. They returned 2 days ago.
Do you know when they're supposed to depart again?
We're still waiting on word for that. However, we are willing to offer a contract to either kill or gain or to return the person to this location for the right price.
I won't be returning him, but I'd be more than happy to be paid to kill him.
No, as in we would want you to pay us to kill him or to bring him to this location.
Oh. How much would it cost to bring him here?
500 platinum.
I can't afford that. I'll be honest with you.
That's okay.
It is incredibly near and dear to my black little heart that I get my hands on him.
Well, between this and the next person that you ask for, we offer this because we know that there are opportunities for information. We would like to trade this information for information on other political targets, as you are much more flexible in your travel arrangements than us at times.
What other political targets?
That's negotiable if you have some that you would rather not target, but we are open at this point. We would just like to place you on retainer for information. We don't want you to kill anyone, but as we are constantly contracted to, say, create a little bit of political instability, we'd be willing to pay you in information, like for like.
There's two organizations that I won't provide any information on. You
And
probably
that is,
know who they are.
tell me so Morgan knows, because Morgan's drawing a blank right now. What's that?
Is it Nine Brothers?
Mhm.
Is the name of Nine Brothers and the Richter's Daughters organization?
Morgan was going like way. I was trying to go through your backstory.
Yeah, no. Literally just the people I currently work with. Everybody else is fair game. Fuck them.
Well, as much as we've tried, we have never been able to infiltrate the Nine Brothers. They are the most significant information brokers in the world. And anyone is foolhardy if they want to take on the Lord Richter.
Yeah, I agree. Everyone else, I haven't met them yet. Or if I have, I don't care about them.
So you see, for that, Tidbit was just the taster, and you watch as the so this has been the gnome talking the whole time.
Yeah.
And you watch as they kind of flick their fingers, and another, like, it looks like maybe a novice member of the organization stands up and kind of wafts into, and they are sneaky as shit, right? They're professional sneakerers, right?
Are you rolling?
What's your passive?
14.
You actually did notice this time.
Okay, cool.
Because they rolled a 14, and so you saw them.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a barely, like, kind of out of the corner of your eye.
Yeah.
Right. But like you don't feel the threat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they hand you a sending stone, and they say, "This will be for us. Feel free to send information requests. We will keep them logged, but we will only pay you once the agreement has been made and you have given us information on a target of our choosing. As always, we like to operate in a modicum of choice. You are always free to turn down an offer. Just know that if you decide to cross us, not the best decision you could make."
As long as you don't ask me to cross the Nine Brothers or anybody in the employ of Richter's daughter.
We are technically politically agnostic. We have only one organization where we actually have a long. What was that?
Skeld says, "So am I."
Then I anticipate this being well. The only one that we actually have a longstanding struggle with is far from here. Our founders escaped their clutches a long time ago. But for this, your agreement, and in this case, all 7 of them hold up their right hands, said, if you would honor us with your right as well.
Real quick,
Go for it.
it's the retainer.
The retainer is the next piece of information.
Gotcha.
The second ask says, and you feel
right,
kind of like a light tingle.
Yeah.
As on the interior of your hand, of your right hand, is a tattoo now of kind of like a poorly drawn skull with a gold tooth.
Excellent.
Which the inside of your palm.
Okay.
You now recognize, you've seen it around in the many port cities that you've been to. It's just now that you've recognized it, it's you're like, oh shit, I get it now.
Yeah.
And say, now make your second ask.
Hold on 1 second.
No worries. No worries.
I'm not sure this is actually goals.
Okay.
That was weird.
I want information about the Dread Captain Ironrot of the Harrowing Zephyr.
Mm-hmm. The Harrowing Zephyr is currently skirting the western mists on the way down to the passage. The passage is the artificial waterway that splits Seacand, the southern continent. Last we heard, he was on his way taking his ship to Bridgehold, the capital of the Grand Regency of Bridgehold.
What's it called again?
Which part?
The last thing that you just said.
On their way to Bridgehold, which is the capital city of the Grand Regency of Bridgehold. He is currently transporting a envoy from Bridgehold that had been in contact with someone on the continent of Uzeth, which is to the east of us on Wudan, but they had paid him to take the long way around, plus the passages on the western side of Seacand.
Okay. You didn't make an offer to bring him here.
He's not as popular.
Hmm.
And at this current moment, bringing him here may cause a little bit of destabilization that we are not ready for.
Gotcha.
Currently, in that part of the world, there are rising tensions between 2 of the 4 nation states. And if that envoy or the person bringing them was to fall ill, a large war could possibly sprout up, and we don't want to be the cause of that.
Understood.
However, if you would like, we can also take them out or bring them here as well. That would be more expensive just because of the distances.
Gotcha. All right. Can I count on you to continue maintaining tabs on these 2 individuals while I procure the funds to be able to pay to have one, the other, or both of them brought to my care?
We will do what we can. While we are quite good at it, we are not the best at maintaining an intelligence network. But we will do what we can, and we will give you what information we can in exchange for services rendered.
Understood.
And with that, let us return you to your compatriots.
You mentioned a retainer.
You just received it.
Interesting. All right, let's go.
Coin matters little to us.
Matters a lot to me when I need to come up with at least 500 platinum.
Why would we pay you to pay us?
You're paying me to do work, by which I will pay you to do work.
We prefer the information you can give us. Hence, we give it in kind.
Understood.
We appreciate the attempted guile.
All right, I turn around and start to walk out.
Padma follows you, and she, you as you exit this chamber, and you begin a completely different path back that doesn't match what you, because you do remember how you got here, right? Because of the fucking 19, right?
Yeah.
This path is different. It's completely different. But you hear a kind of a deep chuckle that emanates from Padma's chest.
Yeah.
Says it's not often that a like for like information exchange can be negotiated. Enjoy it while you can. We're usually much more expensive.
I believe it. But sometimes goals align.
Very much so. And I think in this case, you and your compatriots will be very good for what we need. And eventually, you're led back to the room where Patrice and Esway are sitting. They have had a very wonderful detainment.
We actually had a conversation.
Wait.
Okay.
We've been alone for a minute.
SOA.
Let's do it.
No.
So we'll do this.
SOA.
Then.
What's that? No.
SOA. What you're telling me? You're telling me the deity I've been worshiping, that I've been communing with for years, has a different name than the one I've been using.
I've been saying that for like an hour, Patrice.
I still don't believe you. We're so tight, you know. Like we talk all the time. Like you told me you just talked to him the one time, and you already know his true name.
Okay, so Patrice, I've been trying to explain this. Levinar has been talking to me for a while now, and I wasn't listening.
That's my point. I've been listening, and you haven't. And he didn't give me his name. They didn't give me his name.
And I started listening. And we had a conversation, and we made a deal. And I'm still not sure how I feel about that. But it's been a week and nothing else bad has happened to me, really, yet, outside of the normal shit that's just always happening. And he asked me to tell you that his name is in Haven. It's Levinar. And I saw him, right? Like, and it wasn't just like the goddamn skull that we just saw growing up. It was like a person. And it was huge and it was fucking scary.
Okay. I believe you.
You're too trusting of a person. I'm telling you the truth, but you're too trusting of a person. I want you to know that.
Also one of my faults. True. I'm a little hurt, you know. I figured if anybody, you know, me, not you, would get this information first. But you know, I'll try and I'll figure it out eventually, you know, but I just need a minute is what I'm going to say. I don't yet.
I mean, Patrice, like I had this interaction, and the only other person who mentioned was you. You came up, you know, so
you're saying you talked about me?
I suppose. Like,
he talked about me? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Patrice, he mentioned you.
Was it good stuff?
I mean, it was mostly to tell you about what his actual name was. But you came up, so there's that. You know.
What did I receive? And did he have any verbal praise for me?
Oh boy.
Maybe
I
something
mean,
validating.
I mean, he knows who you are.
Morgan, be sure to tell me when I walk through the door again.
I'm waiting for something good.
Yeah.
So there's that, right? Like he definitely knows who you are. So I think if you're like
So he knows who I am, but he is willing to confide in you. Okay, that just makes me feel so good.
Right there.
I didn't want
Boom.
this. I'm sorry.
Who are we talking about?
In my mind, SOA is laying back, just completely just smug and happy, and Patrice is like has a sandwich in his hand and he's like shaking it around, and there's like cucumbers falling out of it.
Running through the fro.
He's getting all sorts of goo in his hair. Oh, he's so
Completely
so
overreacting.
jealous. Oh yeah, he's so jealous right now.
Even though he's talked to him at least twice that I can remember off the top of my head.
So when Skeld walks in, all he hears is, well, yeah, but he confides in you, right? And it just makes me feel so good or whatever. And Skeld is like, Patrice, I tell you everything. If I've told SOA anything that I haven't told you, it was maybe one or two things, and they were probably about you anyways.
Skeld doesn't tell me anything.
I mean, you're very important to me, Skeld. Very important to me.
I know, buddy.
Yeah, let's leave it at that. As I sit back and I down the rest of my coffee and I burn the roof of my mouth. I'm like, I'm okay. How does this bag thing work? I don't want to be here anymore.
Well, I figured I'd eat lunch before we leave. And I sit down and start building myself a sandwich. I didn't mean to interrupt you guys. Please continue your conversation.
You notice like flames start to tickle his fingers. He's not doing it on purpose, but you can see like there's a tension in his arms and in his face, an intensity that's only usually there when terrible things are flying from his hands at enemies.
Is there like a liquor station somewhere in this room, Morgan?
Unfortunately not.
So Skeld walks over, picks up the hookah, packs it up, walks over and sits down next to Patrice, stokes the bowl a bit, takes a nice big rip. You want me to roll?
Take Patrice's hand to like light the hookah.
No, you just described it too perfectly. It's good.
The residual flames on his fingers to light the hookah. And I'm going to blow some smoke rings and shoot, darts of smoke through the center of the rings. I can roll performance if you want.
There you go. Yep,
right.
That one's a performance.
That's going to be a 16.
Oh yeah, they're wonderful little rings. It's almost to the point of Gandalf.
Nice.
Without the ship. Right,
yeah,
they're beautiful little rings. Actually, they'd be so Bilbo, right?
Yeah. I'm basically making bullseyes and then shooting little arrows of smoke through the centers of the bullseyes, and then I hand the hose to Patrice, and I'm like, "Why don't you just hit this for a second while I eat my lunch, and then we'll get the hell out of here."
Patrice, as soon as I figure out how I'm supposed to talk to him again, I will tell him to talk to you.
I guess.
I'm in uncharted territory here. I thought you were crazy. I didn't think it was real. I thought I was hearing voices in my head.
It
Like you were
gets
right.
more
You
normal.
get that, right?
Did you just
And
say I
take
was
you,
right?
Luca.
That you notice, like, when he says the words "you were right," like my shoulders drop, my countenance evens, and I just, that's really nice to hear. I apologize for getting worked up needlessly. And what do you call this, Skald?
Hookah.
All right. Do I breathe into it or do I breathe out of it? Like, how does it work?
Breathe it into your lungs.
A little bit or a lot bit?
Halfway between the two.
Okay.
Roll a Constitution save for me, please.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So many times I almost did hookah, and I get
Yeah.
this picture. This is me
Oh,
right
yeah.
here, right here.
That's a 15.
So you have a slight cough. As this is really like I think you've been around tobacco or everything, but like there's a little bit of some sort of spicy thing to it that is a little bit different. For the sailors here, it's not a big deal. It gives a little bit of a relaxing, warm sensation. It is slightly narcotic, but for you who have never imbibed in it, it's a little bit heavier of a feeling. So you are instantly calmed, and you are no longer as mad at SOA as you were.
Jealous.
Is there
Jealous.
is there any bacon at this sandwich station?
Nope, it's just like like British cucumber sandwiches, right?
So like I walk over and I plop a cucumber sandwich down in front of Patrice with all of his favorite rabbit food on it, and I've got one of my own, and I start eating and I slap him on the back and I'm like, "Eat up, buddy. This shit's free."
So, is there anything else that you guys would like to talk about?
That's it. For me, I'm done.
It's fun.
That was awesome. That was so much fun. So you guys finish eating, and it is quite lovely. So for those of you who want the coffee, it's strong. Like think Turkish coffee.
Yes,
And
fuck
then
you. Oh,
The
God.
tea is very much of a Darjeeling. If it's there, if you want it, it's lovely. It's wonderful. And then Fadma comes in, like somehow her timing's impeccable. Like you're finishing up and everything. She says, "Are you ready?"
Sure am.
And she points to a window and says, "If you would mind looking that way."
I
And
just
then-
kind of like have a shit-eating grin and turn and look at the window. Start
And
lighting
then-
myself a cigar.
Yep. The sack returns, and then as almost as quickly as the last time, but this time it's removed from your head, and there are 3 of Novalites, we'll call them. They are definitely the least. Their clothing is the plainest of everyone's that you've seen, and the center one looks to the 3 of you and says, "Return home. The 3 of you are all welcome to enter a convocation house from now on. Conduct yourself in the way that you have done previously." And with that, that's where we'll leave off, and we will pick up next session with the 9 brothers. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Campaigns and Concoctions. As always, thank you for joining us on this adventure of cooperative storytelling. If you want to engage with us in real time, hit us up on the link in the thingamajig below in the description. There you will find a link to our Discord. You will find a link to the Instagram, to all the great things. Please like, subscribe wherever you can. Tell us what you think. Please join us. We really enjoy hearing from all of you. We've had some really cool minis posted in the Discord recently.
Super cool.
We have some super talented followers out there, and we'd love to hear what you have to think. And we are starting to get away from just like D&D stuff. We've been talking about Vampire the Masquerade. A lot of us are 40K fan, so if you want to talk about that, we'd love to talk about you. Before we go,
Cavill executive producing and starring in a Warhammer 40K.
so awesome. Before we go, does anyone remember anything that they want to share before we bounce? No? All right. With that being said, we'll see you all next time. And until next time, drink well.
Oh.
Drink well.